Hello and welcome to the online scientific literature searching course. This video will be an introduction to MeSH.
MeSH can be very useful for making your searches more efficient and making sure that you have found all of the results on a specific topic.
In the previous video, I showed you how to get around PubMed and some of the features available. I mentioned that we would look more in depth at the MeSH database. MeSH stands for Medical Subject Heading, which is a controlled vocabulary thesaurus used for indexing articles in PubMed. This means that every article in PubMed will have MeSH tags applied to it to make them easier to search and to find articles that are related to the same topic but whose authors may have used different language. For example, if we think about cancer, there are many different ways to talk about cancer. Cancer can be referred to as cancer, tumors, neoplasms, and many other different phrases. However, if you use the MeSH term, you should find all of the articles talking about cancer, even if they used a different phrase. If we type cancer into the MeSH bar, we get 395 results. All of the results in this page will be MeSH. None of them will be articles because we are searching in the MeSH database, not in the PubMed database. The MeSH database only contains a list of MeSH topics. If you want to find articles, you have to search in PubMed. Because both MeSH and PubMed are run by the NLM, they are connected and you can search between the two easily. However, you need to be careful and make sure you're searching in the right location. We can see here that the correct MeSH for cancer is neoplasms. In order to make sure you have the correct MeSH result, you should always read the definition to make sure it matches what you think you're searching. Furthermore, you should click into the MeSH to get more information about it. Here we can see there are many subheadings. In order to limit a result, you can apply subheadings. For example, by clicking this box, I will get only results that talk about neoplasms in relation to immunology. While this can sometimes be helpful in limiting a search if you are getting too many results, often we recommend you start without any of the subheading boxes checked in your first search when you're figuring out how many results you're going to have. Scrolling down, we have two options: restrict to MeSH major topic and do not include MeSH terms found below this term in the MeSH hierarchy. Restrict to MeSH major topic means that you only want to return articles where this MeSH has been tagged as a key concept in that article. Do not include MeSH terms found below this term in the MeSH hierarchy can be explained by scrolling down. Here we can see the MeSH hierarchy. We have all MeSH categories. More specific than that, we have disease category. More specific than that, we have neoplasms. And more specific than neoplasms, we have cysts. The MeSH hierarchy works by nesting more specific items beneath less specific topics. So, currently, if you search neoplasm, your search results will include anything tagged with any of the MeSH that live below neoplasm. All of these in this list will be included in your search results. This can be very good if you're doing general searches on neoplasms. However, most of the time, you're looking for more specific information or your search will be on a specific type of neoplasm. If this is the case, you can always look through this list and see if you see the neoplasm you are looking for. For example, if I'm looking only for
Abdominal neoplasm,
I can click into that MeSH instead. And then I will only get results of
abdominal neoplasms,
peritoneal neoplasms, retroperitoneal neoplasms, and Sister Mary Joseph's nodule. This is much more specific and can make my search much simpler if this is the type of neoplasm I am interested in. Your other option, if you are interested in neoplasms but only broad papers about neoplasms and nothing about a specific type, is you can click this box that says do not include MeSH terms found below this term in the MeSH hierarchy. At this point, you will return only papers that have been tagged with the MeSH neoplasms and no papers that have been tagged with any of the more specific MeSH terms that live beneath neoplasms. Moving up and down the MeSH tree can also be a good way of controlling your search results. If you are not getting enough search results, you might consider using a less specific MeSH term. If you are getting too many search results, you might consider using a more specific MeSH term. The last place I would like to point to is these entry terms. Entry terms are often synonyms that also mean the same thing as the MeSH term. This can be useful when building out a full search. Full searches usually contain a mixture of MeSH and non-MeSH terms. The non-MeSH terms are usually called keywords or free text searches. In order to search a MeSH term in PubMed, you can use this PubMed search builder found in the MeSH database. You can simply click Add to Search Builder and then search PubMed. You will be automatically taken to the results for that search. Here, if we click into the first result, we can see neoplasms is included as one of the MeSH terms. Because we did not click any of the subheadings, all of them are automatically included. You can tell which of the MeSH terms are considered major topics by this star. Any MeSH term with that star next to it means that that is considered a key concept in that paper. Getting used to using MeSH will make your searches quicker and more streamlined. However, you should not rely overly on MeSH. While MeSH terms are great at helping you find papers, there are a few limitations. For one thing, MeSH terms are applied by humans. A librarian or a subject expert goes through every article in PubMed and applies the MeSH terms that they think are appropriate. This means that there can be some human error, and some papers may not have a MeSH term applied that would be accurate. The other thing this means is that not every paper in PubMed has MeSH terms applied to it. Because it's done by humans, it takes some time. Papers can be in PubMed for as much as 6 months without having MeSH terms applied. So if you want to find the most recent publications on your topic, you should be sure to include some free text terms in your search as well.
Here is the full MeSH tree containing all MeSH categories. We can see that these are the broadest categories available in the MeSH tree. If we click into the anatomy category, we'll be able to see more specific MeSH terms. Underneath anatomy is animal structures, and underneath animal structures are many different, more specific categories. Anything with a plus underneath it will have even more categories available. If we click into arthropod antennae, we can see that underneath that is sensilla. Because this category is specific enough, it took us to the MeSH page instead of showing us further trees. If we click under sensilla, we see that it is the end of this MeSH tree. I hope that this has helped you better understand the values of MeSH, and we will show you in future videos how to combine MeSH with free text to build a complete advanced search.
Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to visit our online guide to see more about future classes we're offering, as well as to schedule a one-on-one consultation. Or you can email us at support_med@ub.unib.ch.